In this video we'll go over the life and cruelness of Daria Saltykova. The infamous Duchess turned serial killer is brought to life in this epic new video. We'll go into full detail about the story of the Bloody Duchess. From the late 16th century, she is said to have tortured and killed hundreds of young girls, earning a reputation as one of history's most prolific female serial killers. Before you forget, subscribe and like to help us grow our channel. Born March 11, 1730. Daria Saltykova was born into a wealthy and noble family in Moscow, Russia. Her family had a prestigious background and owned significant estates. In 1746, at the age of 16, she married Gleb Alexeyevich Saltykov, a nobleman from a well-known family. The couple lived in luxury, but her husband passed away a few years after their marriage, leaving her widowed at a young age. Daria inherited vast estates and a large number of servants. After the death of her wealthy husband, she inherited his fortune and became a hostage to fits of rage, brutally beat her own servants for the slightest fault. She was widowed in 1755, and after her husband's death, Saltykova took full control of her estates. It was during this time that she began displaying increasingly cruel behavior toward her serfs, particularly women. It is known that she began her crimes during these years, from 1756 to 1762. Over these years, she began abusing and torturing her female servants. Her cruelty was relentless. She would beat, starve, and whip the women in her service, often killing them through various torturous methods. Her targets were mostly young women and girls, some as young as 12 years old. The legend surrounding her claims that she would bathe in the blood of virgins, believing it would maintain her youth and beauty. These stories, however, are debated by historians. While she was certainly accused of horrific acts, some argue that the charges may have been exaggerated or fabricated for political reasons, as powerful men sought to claim her lands and wealth. There were many complaints and investigations between 1762 to 1768. Several people attempted to file complaints against Saltykova, but due to her noble status, the local authorities ignored or dismissed the cases. However, two peasants whose relatives had been murdered by Saltykova managed to file a petition with Empress Catherine the Great. This caught the Empress's attention, leading to a formal investigation. Daria Saltykova was arrested in 1768 and brought to trial. The investigation uncovered that she had been responsible for the deaths of at least 38 female servants, although the true number of victims is believed to have been much higher, possibly as many as 100. Before you forget, subscribe and like to help us grow our channel. She was convicted of torturing and murdering 38 women. However, due to her noble status, she was not sentenced to death. Instead, she was publicly shamed by being displayed in chains in Moscow for 1 hour with a sign labeling her as a torturer and murderer. After her public humiliation, Saltykova was imprisoned for life in a convent in Moscow, the Ivanovsky convent, where she lived in isolation. She was held in a windowless underground cell for the first few years, after which she was moved to slightly less restrictive quarters within the convent. Daria Saltykova died in 1801, still in the convent prison. She spent 33 years in confinement after her crimes were exposed. Her reputation as one of Russia's most infamous female serial killers remains etched in history. Her legacy is often compared to that of Elizabeth Bathory, another female noble serial killer. Both women used their high social positions to hide their heinous crimes for years, and both have left lasting impressions of terror in their respective countries' histories. After her death, Daria Saltykova's story became part of Russian folklore and literature. She is often portrayed as a figure of evil, embodying the darker aspects of noble privilege and the potential for cruelty inherent in unchecked power. Her life has inspired various artistic interpretations, including literature, plays, and other media that explore themes of brutality and injustice. Saltykova's actions occurred during a time in Russian history when serfdom was a legal institution, and nobles often had significant control over the lives of their serfs. This social structure allowed individuals like Saltykova to commit acts of violence without facing severe consequences. Her story highlights the grim realities of serfdom and the social hierarchy in 18th century Russia. Saltykova is frequently compared to other infamous women in history, such as Elizabeth Bathory, often referred to as the Blood Countess. Bathory was a Hungarian noblewoman accused of torturing and killing young women, allegedly to preserve her youth. Both women used their social status to evade justice for an extended period. Mary Ann Cotton, an English woman who was considered one of Britain's most notorious female serial killers. Cotton poisoned her children and husbands for financial gain. Nanny Doss, an American serial killer, who murdered several family members over decades, often for financial motives. Modern interpretations in contemporary culture. Saltykova's story continues to resonate, drawing interest in true crime narratives and psychological analyses of her behavior. Her life raises questions about the nature of evil, the influence of power on morality, and the societal structures that enable such acts of cruelty. Daria Saltykova's life has been the subject of various historical studies and true crime literature, which delve into the socio-political climate of 18th century Russia, the role of women in society, and the implications of her crimes. Scholars and authors analyze her actions through various lenses, including feminist perspectives that consider how her gender and status influenced her treatment by the legal system. Posthumous investigations and debates. After her death in 1801, debates about the accuracy of the accusations against Saltykova continued. Some historians argue that her punishment was influenced by her status and the political climate of the time. Others assert that her crimes were so egregious that they warranted her harsh treatment. This ongoing discourse reflects broader societal attitudes toward gender, power, and violence. In the context of Russian history, Saltykova's crimes were not isolated. Many nobles abused their power over serfs, leading to widespread suffering. Saltykova's infamy highlighted the moral failures of the aristocracy and the consequences of unchecked power. Her case became emblematic of the struggles faced by the serf class and the eventual push for reform in Russian society. Don't forget to subscribe and like for more content like this. Thank you for watching this video and supporting our channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like for us to make more content like this. Thank you for watching this video and supporting our channel.